Hey everybody, it's Lydia here, and I'm popping by today to share something so cool with you guys, especially if you're struggling with insomnia or sleep issues, poor energy, maybe you have adrenal fatigue. There is some really cool stuff that I never talk about because I'm not an expert about this, but I have my friend Brian here. He's an NTP, but he's also a geobiologist, whatever that is, right, Brian?
Yeah.
But he's an EMF expert, and he's got some pretty cool equipment. He's doing home assessments on the East Coast right now. So I invited him over to show me some cool stuff so we could get some ideas and solutions in place to help protect us from the electric, magnetic fields and all that good stuff. See, I don't even understand all the terms. So we've actually been playing around here testing stuff, and Brian's got a lot of insight to share with you guys. So we're going to talk about protecting yourself in your sleep, why it's important, why this is something you may want to consider if you've had chronic health issues, especially if you'd like to improve your health and maintain your health, and even your whole family, right? Because it can affect the whole household. So take it away, Brian.
All right. So we're in the bedroom here, and what I have here is an electric field meter. And so this also tests body voltage, but it's mainly testing electricity. So anything that's plugged into the walls, there's wiring that's in the walls, and all of that is creating voltage that's coming into the bedroom and affecting the sleeping area. So especially in areas where you have metal, bed frames, metal springs, metal box springs, lamps next to the bed, the voltage is always seeking something to conduct against, and your body is actually conductive too. So you have a high body voltage when there's electricity around.
So you shouldn't sleep with any metal on your body too, like earrings and stuff like that. Does that matter?
It doesn't matter as much, but
Okay.
it's more like, when you have metal that's close to the wall where the electricity is, it's actually bringing voltage in near your body, and then your body's like 70% water, and you've got minerals in your body, and so everything is very conductive. That's why when you touch an electrical wire outside, like a power line, and if you're on the ground, you're going to get electrocuted because the electricity can go right through your body. So we have all this electricity around us right here, and in a way, this electricity is going through our bodies and going to a place where there's less voltage, trying to go to the ground. Just like if you touch a power line, then you get electrocuted. So all this voltage...
So all the electrical wiring in the walls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because we all have that.
Yeah. So when I use this instrument, I have to ground the instrument to get a true sense of what's going on in the room. And then you can see in this room we already have this we're already in an electric field. And so like in just the air, it's 70, 80 volts per meter. And then Lydia, let's have your put your arm out here. And then she is conductive. So she's a conductive, human, and she's creating a higher voltage because it's attracted to her.
So it's going up to, past 200, and it's supposed to be below 30 or 40 or what?
Yeah, we like to see below 30 in a bedroom for optimal sleep recovery and
so it's
restoration and everything.
7 times what it should be.
Yeah. And then, it's because of what we have on the walls here. So we get closer to the wall, it gets higher, and then we have that much on the wall.
Wow, it's over 1,000.
All right, and then the same thing happens when we go over to lamps. So a lot of people have lamps next to their bed.
Woo! Holy cow.
That's high. Then you can test yourself, and you can see that when I touch this, when I touch the lamp, I'm touching the lamp right now, and I'm letting go. I'm reaching my hand back over to touch the lamp. So all that voltage is going through my body, and that's what happens on people's beds is when you're sleeping, you have all this voltage going through your body. And what does electricity do when it gets in contact with muscles.
Yes, yeah. So I guess a good example would be like if maybe you've gone to like a chiropractor and they do that electrical stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Maybe you haven't experienced that, or if you got electrical shock.
Right.
You're gonna have a tensing of your muscles.
Right. Or like when someone's heart stops, the heart's a muscle. So you have they use the defibrillator paddles to shock the heart back into rhythm, and that contracts the heart muscle, and then it restarts the heart. Or those electrodes, like you're talking about, those
which in that case
contract
it's a good
the muscles. Yeah, and you're using it to work out. But when you're sleeping, it's not a good thing because you have this voltage on your body, and your muscle cells are being contracted on this low level all night long. You're never getting the true break that you need. It's causing a cortisol response.
So your body's tense, probably, right?
Yeah, your body's tense. You wake up sore or tired, fatigued, just not well rested, because your body didn't have a chance to, because there's all this stimulation going on from these electric fields.
That's wild. So when you test someone in a bed, usually, because we were doing this earlier, what do you normally see there?
Yeah, normally when I test someone in a bed, I see anywhere from 600 to 1400 volts per meter. So even higher than what we have on the wall.
And it's supposed to be below 40.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
below 40. So that's really
40.
high. So they're having like this overstimulation while they're sleeping.
Right, yeah. And I've put in some solutions for people. There's some cutoff switch you can do. You need to turn the breakers off in the room, and there's a little switch you can get installed, so you just touch the button and it turns off the breakers that are affecting the room.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Or there's a paint that you can do that's grounded, and you have an electrician ground it so that the electric fields can't escape from inside the walls. They just hit the ground in the paint, and then it goes directly out, and it doesn't enter the room or the bed or whatever.
That's great.
So the people that I've had put in those solutions, they've said things like, okay, the first night that they had those solutions in, they woke up and didn't even want coffee, didn't need a cup of coffee,
Because they felt good.
Because they felt good, and when they did drink and then when they did drink their coffee, they get jittery, and so they come to me like, Brian, what did you do? I love having my coffee in the morning. It's like one of my rituals that I love to do, but now I don't need it anymore.
Right. But what everyone wants is the energy in the morning. That's a lot of the reason why people are drinking coffee. Yeah. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about what happens to our body during sleep, because we can kind of help people understand. I mean, obviously we all know you got to sleep. You got to get that rest to restore your energy. But what else happens when you sleep, and who could this really impact? I mean, obviously we know it's going to help everybody, but we want to connect the dots for people.
Right.
So,
yeah. So when your body's going into a restful state, you're really your melatonin is starting to be produced early in the evening after the sun goes down and the lights get dim. That's another piece of the puzzle, is getting those blue blocker glasses and helping yourself to produce more melatonin naturally. Because that's your sleep hormone, right?
Hormone. So that helps you naturally start to fall asleep.
Now, what a lot of people don't know about melatonin, and this is something that I learned from Dr. Klinghardt when I did my studies with him, was that melatonin is actually the brain's #1 way to detoxify. And so it's even more potent antioxidant than glutathione is in the body.
True.
So it scavenges up all those free radicals in the brain, and it helps. And then the brain cells actually shrink by like 40%. So that creates all this extra space in there for all the cellular waste and the oxidation that happens from the stressors that we have during the daytime, when we're aware and awake and out and about.
Right.
All that stuff gets swept out of the brain and down through the back of the spinal fluid through this new system that they just discovered a few years ago called the glymphatic system, with a G. Glymphatic, glymphatic. And so that's just, that's the system that helps detoxify the brain at night. And it's so important to reset your brain so you don't have that brain fog, and you don't have that, fatigue and that inability to focus and all of those things.
Inability to focus, that's a big one. I hear all the time. Brain fog too.
Yeah.
So when you're sleeping, you're not just getting rest. It's so much more. Your whole body can get a chance to heal, but it's so cool to hear about how your brain actually gets to detoxify. Like, who thinks about that, So, but it impacts us on a physical level. And when we get up and we have brain fog, how can we do our jobs? How can we have a decent conversation if our job is to educate people, for example? So that's pretty important. So you were talking too about how a lot of people have sleep issues, by the way. So I don't know if you're aware of it. Maybe you have a sleep issue, so you are aware of it for yourself, but we speak with individuals all the time, and it's kind of universal that everybody has some type of sleep issue, and there's more and more the need for even the machines now. So a lot of people have sleep apnea. And I didn't realize this until more recently, because I've been hearing it come up and up and up, and having clients with sleep apnea frustrated because they can't figure out what the heck to do about it, and not getting much help from the medical system. Right. And then the machine has to be plugged in, so it's more radiation, right?
Yeah.
So Brian was telling me about that. So you had a story about someone. Why don't you tell him that? Because that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, well, there's somebody who I did an evaluation for, and they put in these solutions, and that night and the next night, they didn't need their CPAP machine anymore, which is the machine that people use who have sleep apnea. And so they, and then, the clinic that I studied under, the GeoVital Academy, they're a naturopathic clinic out of Austria. They have a very interesting article on their website. So if you just type in GeoVital sleep apnea into Google, and this article will come up that shows the study that they did, where 70% of the people that had sleep apnea, that they put solutions in their bedroom for to take care of these electric fields that I'm showing you, and then a few other things, they got off of their CPAP machines altogether.
Which is amazing.
And so this is just a huge stressor during sleep. That's actually one of the primary reasons that people are having issues with their breathing and their circulation and the oxygen, because the sleep apnea is all about the brain's not getting enough oxygen, so it's using the respiratory system to compensate for that.
So powerful. So when you do an assessment, basically what Brian's saying is he has this equipment that he'll come in and evaluate your home, especially the bedrooms, because it's really important to protect your sleeping environment, obviously, since we've been talking about that. And he can get a lot of information about your specific sleeping environment as well as your home in general. So, you've got some variances from house to house. Right. So he's going to be touring around the East Coast for the next couple months through October, right, you said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you watch this video, comment below yes if you are interested in having Brian come do an assessment for you, and we'll reach out. But I do want to say really quick, like, people are watching this and they're like, okay, yeah, I want to do something, but I can't do this now. What can I do?
Yeah, well, one of the things that's huge, and this is kind of something we found in this bedroom, was I was going to show the test on the bed, but it's not typical, because what the setup is here is that there's no metal framing on the bed, and there's no metal box springs, and there's no metal mattress.
And it's a foam mattress.
Yeah, so that actually helps buffer some of the electric fields from the wall. I mean, we still had a high reading, and it was too high.
Right.
But it was about...
But you normally see way higher, you said.
Yeah, I normally see about 10 times higher than what it was.
So...
Yeah, so I mean, that's something you can start to change out now.
So if you have a bed with a lot of metal in it, and you're ready to get a new bed, you may want to get,
get something without,
no metal.
Start off with the bed frame. No metal bed frame. Get rid of the box springs. Get a wood bed frame. Mm-hmm. And then, GeoVital sells these non-toxic, anti-static, anti-mold mattresses that we sell through GeoVital.
Okay.
But any mattress that doesn't have metal is not going to have that issue of, getting that voltage to be where it's going to be going onto your body and causing stress while you're sleeping.
Okay, so step 1, assess your bed. What else?
Anything plugged into the wall next to your bed, lamps and alarm clocks often cause a magnetic field. So, if you have to unplug it before you go to bed, or get battery operated lamps that are next to your bed. So just plugging things into the wall brings in a higher electric field, and that can cause more stress on your body when that's, being conducted onto you.
Okay, so don't plug anything in on the wall of your bed or near the head of your bed. So how far away should it be? I mean, ideally not at all, but...
Right, yeah. I
but
mean,
what's a decent...
I wouldn't have
I've
anything...
heard 3 feet. Is that enough?
You have to test really to know for sure. But I would just my personal opinion is if you really want to take care of it, don't plug anything in your room. If you have a master bedroom with a bathroom next to it, plug your phone in there and charge it there. You'll still hear it if there's an emergency.
Yeah.
And keep it on airplane mode. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
That's a whole different topic, but put it on airplane mode, plug it in the bathroom or the next room over where you can still hear it if there's an emergency. Mm-hmm. And, just try to keep things unplugged in your bedroom and really dark and peaceful.
Okay, so assess your bed, don't plug anything near your head, keep your phone on airplane mode, and then you said something about the breakers. Oh
yeah, if you want to get really into it, you can turn the breakers off to the plugs and the lights in your room. And that will help reduce your voltage on your body, but it's and it's going to drastically reduce it. But still, like when I do homes and I evaluate them, sometimes I'll find as many as 14 or 16 breakers that are affecting a room. But,
oh my goodness.
But the main breaker that is affecting the room is always the one that's for the plugs and the lights,
So at least shut the breaker off to the bedrooms, at the very least.
Right.
Okay. All right. So if you guys have questions, feel free to pop them below. This is like... I didn't want to hear about this, a year and a half ago?
Yeah,
I wanted to hear about it.
She's like, Brian, I don't want to...
But I was like...
Just shut up, I don't want to hear it.
I can't do all of this stuff right now. I mean, I could if I really, really, really wanted to, but it was overwhelming. So, I know there's probably people out there feeling overwhelmed by this information. And there's certainly a lot you can still do to support your health, but... This is something that, is only going to probably increase, right? When you say, we are, from what he's seen traveling across the U.S., all the radiation we're exposed to, it's a lot. And we can't control it in many places that we are during the day. And the one place that you can control it is at least in your bedroom. And so then you can at least have restful sleep. And that's pretty huge. So if you, feel like this is... resonating with you, you may want to try to get an assessment, and Brian's going to be touring all over. So, ask us your questions below. If you want to connect with Brian, comment yes below. We'll reach out later. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys found this helpful, and that's it.